What's up, guys? It's Wolfy. Now, I'm pretty excited about this, but Lost Ark is now open beta on the Russian servers, and there's no character wipe. I've been looking forward to this game for years. I've been keeping track of it, looking at it, and I didn't play on the Korean servers because they were very strict about it. They didn't want people from outside of Korea playing. You had to have a social security number to actually play the game. They're constantly banning people, and you know how that goes. But it's now on the Russian servers. They seem to be a lot more lenient. The worst thing you need is a VPN with a Russian IP and a Russian email address, which is pretty simple to get. It's not that bad. But if you're like me in the West and really want to play the game, this is probably your best opportunity to play it because there's no scheduled EU or US release. So if you want to wait an undisclosed amount of time till it comes out, then that's on you. But I got to play. Now, for those who are worried, VPN is easy to get, and there's an English patch that you can download. That there's a bunch of guides online on YouTube to help you out and walk you through it. I'll put one in the description. But yeah, I'm going to give you my overall first impressions of the game. And yeah, it's incredible. I've been having a blast. I decided to stream it. And I thought, oh, hey, I was going to get a couple hours in and just go on to something else to end the stream with. And I accidentally streamed for 10 or 11 hours. It completely screwed my sleep schedule. And it is what it is. But yeah, let me give you guys a description real quick. So first of all, there's a lot of classes in this game. A lot of classes. There's something for almost anybody, and there's tons more characters coming out. Basically, there's 4 main classes: the warrior, the mage, the fighter, and the gunner. But there's 3 subclasses for each one of them. They're all vastly different. They have different styles of hitting. They have different combos, different skills. I believe they share a few, but they're very different. The warlord is very different from the berserker. He's more tanky, has a gun lance. It's really cool. It's awesome. I messed around with the warrior classes and the fighter classes. I figured those would be my style, you know what I mean? Got the big old guy with the 2-handed sword beating things up. It was awesome. And they really feel impactful. Like, you might think to yourself, oh, hey, that class is really slow. I don't know if I'm going to like it. And then you play it and it just, wow. I never liked this in other games, but I'm feeling this right now. That swing really hits. It hits different on this game. You would think since it's an isometric game that charge hits and like holding down buttons would feel really, really slow and cumbersome and uncomfortable, but this game has a certain thing that just makes it feel right. So I would suggest trying the classes before choosing what you want to play, because I never played 10 classes, but I was really considering playing the warlord. After messing around with it for a good 5 or 10 minutes, it was kind of impressive how they built that class up. And for those who are wondering, these classes are gender locked for whatever reason. I don't know. It just is what it is. But the character creation is pretty in depth. More so than most of the action RPGs that I've seen, but it's definitely in line with an MMO style of character creation. There's a lot of detail you can do on these characters for this kind of game. And I enjoyed it. It's not pinpoint. You can't make someone's cheeks bigger or change their curves. Thirsties. But it'll let you change the face, eye color, iris, shape, hair. You get it. It's pretty. When you want to put tattoos or scars on a person or jewelry or makeup, it's got it. It's pretty good. It's pretty well developed, I should say. Now let's go into my favorite part of this game. So while I was watching like trailers for the game, I knew it was an MMO and I knew it was gonna be isometric, but I always thought to myself, how do I feel about it being isometric? All MMOs are third person. While I'm playing this game, am I gonna wish it was third person? Is this game gonna have enough feel to it to keep up with the big boys? Let me tell you, after playing it, that idea is gone. I think it is great. I love it. And I will go so far as to say this is the best feeling isometric game I've ever played. The abilities have impact, they have weight, they have satisfying sounds. Like, I'm really picky when it comes to animation and feel and stuff for these games. I feel like majority of these, especially action RPGs, because we're talking about isometric games, most of them lack impact or feel or satisfaction when you're doing things. And it's always like, what comes out the fastest? I could just spam it. This is the first game where I felt the difference between a slow hitting ability and a speedy ability. And it can change the way you feel about a certain class. Some classes will have more hits, but less impact. They will affect characters less. And then you got big, brawling, heavy characters like the Destroyer with a giant hammer, and when they hit, the ground shakes. And I don't feel like other games captured that. Diablo was always the front of the pack when it came to animation and impact and feel for things. I feel like this game did it better. I just do. So not only does the combat feel good, not only do your skills feel good, not only do the characters feel good, the control of your abilities feel good, where you target and everything. And on top of that, every skill is customizable. Every skill. You put points into a skill, and once you get to a certain number of points, it gives you a little like system where you can choose to augment the abilities. You can make it an ability that is normally really fast, have a charge time, but do extra damage. You can add swings onto your air combo. You can make your whirlwind hit twice as fast and have more range. You can make an ability that is normally a channel ability into an insta-cast ability. They changed the way you can customize your character just by leveling. And you're individually putting points into every ability. Instead of just like, oh, hey, got to level 20, all my abilities went up. No, you're customizing your character. And it's really interesting. I like it. It's fun. It's different. It's a nice way to give me a talent tree, but also give me the flexibility of being able to mix and match my skills. I love it. It's awesome. It's got sort of a Diablo 3 feel mixed with a Path of Exile feel, mixed with like, I can't think of a game that let me individually level my abilities. Not even just like buy them from vendors, just individually choose what I want to level. It's really nice. I like it. It's really cool. Now, I've been using a lot of these comparisons to Diablo and stuff like that, and that's mainly because it's isometric. So it's really hard to compare it to third-person MMOs when it comes to combat and stuff like that. But don't make any mistake. This is an MMO. It is a massively multiplayer online RPG. You are online. You are in the world. You see other players. The content in the game is expected to be grouped. You are working with other people, and that's just how the game is. You are not expected to do things by yourself. You can level by yourself, I'm pretty sure, but you're going to be doing dungeons in groups. This is not an isolated game. That's where the MMO part comes from. And if I had to really compare it, it's like your standard action Asian MMO, but it's isometric. It works really well. It's not pure open world like WoW is, where you just run around the whole world. There's areas. More like Final Fantasy than WoW. Where you go into an area, load in, and you got that whole area to explore. That's what it's like. Now there's channels and stuff. Oh yeah, nonsense. So like you can go to a channel and find your friends or stuff. But yeah. There's a bunch of things to do. Running around, seeing people is pretty cool. I've only run into very, very few instances where I'm fighting for quest items. And it's never the mobs. The mobs are never the problem. It's always the rare specific things you gotta find, like the prisoners that you gotta break free, or the clickable items you gotta find, because you don't share those with your party. And I level the majority of the time with my friends, and they're limited. So if someone comes and picks them up, it disappears until it respawns. Those are the things you're gonna be fighting over while leveling. But I mean, that's just MMO experience, you know. That's just part of the thing, you know. You come to expect that. In some cases, people prefer that. That's where the whole WoW Classic thing came from. But yeah, that's pretty much what's happening. So if you're looking for an experience that's going to be like Diablo, you're not going to get it. Path of Exile, you're not going to get. The combat's going to be very similar. But leveling and everything else is going to feel like an MMO. You're going to have fetch quests, professions, all those things, all those mechanics are in the game. Mounts, all that stuff is in the game. Which is kind of weird because they're kind of conflicting when it comes to player bases, but it strikes a very, very nice in between, in my opinion. I guess I'm just that guy that likes both. So I'm geeking really hard. I'm like, yeah, I'm having fun. Leveling so far has been pretty smooth. Some of the quests are very, very... They're your standard fetch quest. Go kill this, go get that. Some of them are a little more interesting, and they put you in a little instanced area. Some of them tell you to do dungeons. Dungeons have been cool. It's been pretty chill, you know. Things are pretty easy to understand. I can't really understand the text very well because I don't speak Russian, and the translation for the English patch isn't 100%. It misses a lot of things, but thank goodness that, honestly, even if you don't have an English patch and you're playing it on Russian, the map UI is so good, you can play the entire game without understanding Russian. It will direct you where you're supposed to go, and you can generally figure out what you have to do. Generally, if you're just running into an area and you just start killing things, you'll start seeing numbers go up, and you're like, okay, that's part of the quest. And if you run around and you see little clickable things, okay, that's part of the quest, and you'll eventually get it. It's not that bad, and like I said before, the map UI is mint. It's really good. It's nice. So that's a good experience. So even if you don't want to download the English patch, you can definitely just play it in Russian. Besides the skills you're going to have to go on a website to see, because they do have the translated skills on a website, and the English patch doesn't do a really good job with those skills anyway. they're misworded horribly. The destroyer actually has an ability that says inflicts cancer. I was like, oh, cool. So there's that. Um, in terms of endgame PvE, there's your standard stuff. Lots of exploration, questing that actually impacts your characters, like skills quests. It'll give you points to spend on your abilities to make your character better. There's raids. There's endgame dungeons, obviously. There's world bosses. These bosses are hard. I've never played them, but I've seen videos of them. They are hard. I've heard of stories of people from the Korean servers playing them, and every single person just explains to me they are difficult. They are not easy. You have to be good to kill a lot of these bosses and creative. So, also there's no standard Holy Trinity. There's no main tank healer in DPS, but there is a character who can heal and a very supporty character. And there's other characters with good support abilities too. And everybody wants that character in their group, the Bard. And there's a character who's the most defensive character in the game, which is the Warlord, which does have a lot of defensive abilities and mitigation for his team, but he's not exactly a tank. He's more of a bruiser that does less damage but has more utility. Doesn't mean he can't hit hard. Just means he's not built around damage. The other warrior classes can generally tank to an extent. So, like, you don't need the Warlord, but you want a Warlord. Almost everybody wants a Bard. Bard is probably the most wanted class in the entire game. So if you're looking for, like, things to play and just you want to be the prettiest girl on campus, pick a Bard. But yeah, that's all like that. Standard MMO experience, which is great. There's crafting. There's getting boats and traveling around the world and exploring islands and stuff like that. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Then you have PvP. Again, I haven't tried it yet, but I've done a lot of research on it. I've watched a lot of videos, took a lot of people's opinions on it, and I've heard nothing but good things. Obviously imbalance issues, but like you're gonna get that no matter what you do in MMO. PvP MMO is just part of the course, Can't really avoid it. But yeah, I've heard really good things about them. I am looking forward to trying it out when I get there. It's going to be a fun experience. So from what I understand, there's a 1v1 mode, a 3v3 1x1 mode, and a full-on 3v3 mode. The 1v1 mode is obviously 1v1, and the other one is you have 3 people on a team, and you go in a row. One person loses, the next person comes out, etc., etc., etc. So you have a 3v3, but it's only one-on-one at a time. So it's completely possible for one person to just beat 3 people because you're just the man. Or woman. You're Bruce Lee. You know what I mean? You just, wah! You know what I mean? That's just how it goes. The montage videos must be crazy. We just don't see them because none of them are in English. Now, there is one warning. I'm going to give you. There's one warning. There is a report of a little bit of pay to win on the Korean servers, and it's being reported that there's more pay to win on the Russian servers. But from what I understand, it's very, very, very limited and small. It shouldn't really affect the game too much. But for me, or anyone else that's looking to play this as a Western audience or a US or EU, I'm playing this until it comes out in the West. So regardless of it's pay to win or not, doesn't really affect me because ultimately my goal is to reroll on another server once it comes out. I'm playing this because I really want to experience the game, and it's free to play, and the only thing you need for it is a VPN that'll cost you like $6 a month. So I'm okay with it, I guess. You have to judge for yourself if you're okay with it. If you want to just wait for the Western release, which we don't have a date for, it's up to you. But for me, I don't think it's really going to affect me. If it's really bad, I'm just going to stop and wait for a Western release. But I would highly suggest that if you're really interested in the game like I am, and you want to just play the game, to kind of just ignore the pay to win at the moment and just get a feel for the game. The game is honestly a very fun game to play, and that's just my opinion on it. We're going to restart again anyway, and hopefully the American servers or EU servers aren't pay to win, and that'll get fixed by then. So it's up to you. That might turn a lot of people off, but beggars can't be choosers. Now, my basic overall first impression for this video, for this game, I'm blown away, honestly. Beside the pay to win aspect of the game that I've already agreed to ignore purely because I'm ready to re-roll once the Western servers come out, it exceeded all expectations that I had, and it did things I didn't think it was going to do. It made me completely forget or even want it to be forget my desire for it to be third person. And that was impressive. It made controlling an isometric character and abilities feel better than what, in my opinion, was the previous best. It's a fantastic game. And even if you only play it for 1 month or 3 days, or whatever it is, I'd highly suggest you try it out. It is amazing. Even if it's just to try it out for a little while and wait for the Western servers after it, definitely suggest it. It is amazing. Solid game from every aspect of the game. It's well made. I haven't seen any bugs. I haven't run into any issues. Abilities seem to work. Leveling seems to work. It feels like an old-fashioned MMO. It feels like an RPG. It feels like a world. Your classes feel impactful. They feel different. It's a lot of fun. Alright guys, so basically for my final overall impression of the game is amazing. I absolutely love it. It exceeded my expectations. It took away all my concerns for the game. It somehow erased my desire for it to be third person and just accept it for what it was. And I don't regret playing it at all. And I'm actually going to play this game and go all the way to the end game and play with my character and do all this stuff. And then do it again when it comes out on the Western servers, which I would never do for another game. That's how good this game is. That's how much fun this game is. And I can't wait to do it again. That's saying something for me. If the only negative to me is the minor pay to win that's in the game, and I'm hoping it's gone by the time it goes to the American servers. If it is, great. If it's not, we'll debate if we play it for long term. But for right now, it's not really a big deal for me. So I would highly advise, if you are interested in this game at all, even in the smallest little bit, try it out. Try it out. There's like no negatives to trying it out. Even if you're going to use a VPN, you can use Exit Lag. My affiliate link will be in the bottom. And you get 3 days for free. You don't even got to pay for it. Just get 3 days for free. You can try it out for 3 days. If you don't like it, stop playing. If you do like it, pay the monthly fee for Flag, which is cheap. It's about $6.50 a month if you pay it monthly. And yeah, it's awesome. It's fantastic. It's the MMO that I've been waiting for to come out. It's a nice, current MMO with all the bells and whistles and enough content to compete with the MMO big boys. That's basically my opinion on it. Play it. Play it. If you like MMOs, you like action RPGs, you like RPGs in general, play it. I think it's a must play. Whether you're waiting for the Western or you're going to play it on the Russian servers, it's a must play. It's awesome. Do yourself a favor. You won't regret it. That's about it for now. I'm going to go take a nap. They're going to be ready for my stream later, which is going to be more Lost Ark. Catch my stream at twitch.tv/Wolfy2032. I stream every night. And yeah. If you guys enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that bell to get notifications when we post videos. I really appreciate it. You can also check out my social media links in the description and all the other goodies down there. But thank you all very much for watching. I appreciate it. Have a good one.